On Saturday, the Portland State Vikings got off to a storming start to Big Sky Conference basketball, building a big first-half lead before holding off the Northern Colorado Bears down the stretch for a 69-65 victory over a team that looks to contend for a Big Sky title this year. After back-to-back 0-2 starts in conference play, the Vikings look for their first 2-0 start in 10 years as they take on the visiting Southern Utah Thunderbirds. Live from the Viking Pavilion at Peter W. Stott Center. Hello, everybody. Alongside Devon, I'm Matt Ricker. Pounce, second night in a row that the Vikings will face one of the tough contenders in this conference. Southern Utah coming off only its second ever postseason appearance last year. They went 17-17 overall, but a strong finish in the Big Sky Conference tournament after a trip to the semifinals, including a win over Northern Colorado, a big upset. They went on to the College Invitational Tournament, knocking off Drake in overtime in the first round, and they're looking to build on that this year, returning most of their key components from what was already a very athletic team in the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah, most definitely. And after last game, you and I got to talk to Coach Barry Peary of the Vikings, and he was saying this is a game where his team had to be prepared for the athleticism of Southern Utah. But I think this is a team at full strength that could play with anybody athletically. So I'm interested to see how the pressure goes, because we know the Vikings like to get up and down. They like to pick up full court, and playing against another team that can get up and down and play that similar style of play, I'm interested to see who can kind of get the best of who tonight. And so it should be a good one here at the Viking Pavilion.
Maybe a little advantage for the visitors tonight. They've had extra time to prepare for this Vikings team. They had the bye on Saturday. It's been 11 days since Southern Utah hit the floor. They dismantled Long Beach State on the road back on December 19th, their second road win of the season. Their first road victory came in their second game of the year in overtime at Nebraska in Lincoln. Only the second time in history that a Big Sky Conference team has got on to a Big Ten gymnasium and picked up the win.
Yeah, most definitely. And you can always use rest, during any point in the season, really, especially if you're a team like the Vikings where, for example, dealing with some injuries, trying to get guys back into the rotation. But in the case of the Vikings, I'm excited to be able to come back and try to follow up on a big home win against Northern Colorado, even against a team that has had 11 days rest and had a little bit more time to prepare for them. So, being able to have your first two at home and try to really carry over the momentum of what you were able to do by winning your first conference game, you should be excited and ready to come out here tonight and try to do more of the same.
Vikings dealt with some injuries in the front court, and we've seen what a healthy front court can do for this team. They went down to Loyola Marymount and blasted the Lions in the first half, cruising to a victory. That's a team that Southern Utah lost to on the road. Vikings followed that up with Saturday's Big Sky opening win. Sal Nuhu and Alonzo Walker, definitely difference makers when they're healthy and patrolling the paint.
Yeah, most definitely. And, those guys are anchors because, as I mentioned, with the extension of the Vikings defense, with the fact that they like to pressure and try and force turnovers and really speed the opponents up, being able to have somebody like Sal Nuhu or being able to have somebody like Alonzo Walker who can rebound, but even more importantly, defensively block shots, deflect shots, alter shots, it really helps when you're speeding the team up and really trying to get them to play out of control to have to deal with guys as skilled in those areas as those two guys are. So having those guys back, I think, is huge for this Vikings team. And as I mentioned before, it allows them to compete with just about anybody athletically.
Southern Utah has also dealt with some injuries in the front court. Dwayne Morgan, who was awarded a sixth year of eligibility after his season ended after 4 games last season, the UNLV transfer, has missed a couple of games with injury, should be in the lineup tonight. Andre Adams, who was a handful for the Vikings last year, averaging 13 points and 8 boards in 2 games. He's been limited to 6 games, all starts because of an injury. And a big 7-foot transfer, David Njai, has also missed a couple of games as well. We believe we'll see Njai and Morgan. Don't know about Andre Adams. Also, Ivan Madunic, a 6'11 Serbian who played a lot last year, hasn't played this year for Southern Utah. But this is a deep team, and it is an athletic team, and it's a versatile team, focusing on Morgan at 6'8", Cameron Aluyatan, the Big Sky Conference newcomer of the year last year, at 6'7". Both these guys can score in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, most definitely, and that's where you really got to try to be in attack mode and really try to turn the defense into offense. I think that's one thing that the Vikings really did early on in the Northern Colorado game. Obviously, later on in the game, Northern Colorado was able to figure some things out and shrink a deficit of 22 all the way down to 1. But one thing that I saw the Vikes do really well early on was turn their defense into offense. So if they dial in early and try to really kind of physically impose their will against this team on that side of the floor, I think they can get off to another fast start, especially in front of the home crowd.
Well, you mentioned attack mode. Southern Utah likes to play fast. That goes into the Vikings' favor. And after a Northern Colorado team that shoots 30-plus threes per game, this is a team, Southern Utah, that's going to attack the basket relentlessly from multiple angles and multiple personnel. Should be another fun game tonight at Viking Pavilion. Vikings looking for a 2-0 start in their third straight victory as they take on the visitors from Cedar City, Utah, the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. When we come back, we'll talk to the head coach of the Vikings, Barrett Peary, after this timeout on the Vikings Broadcast Network.